wake up. This is sucking the silver vaults dry. Right here. Both sides sucking vaults dry. This is from Silver Academy. And let's get right to this, because what's going on with silver is coming to hit our spot price in a big way. Let's get right on it. Also, stay tuned for this whole live stream, because I'm going to have people calling in and talking to me. I want you guys to give me a call on this live stream. I'm having a lot of fun doing that. So let's get right to this. Now, check this out. Shanghai Gold Exchange. When you see this, SGE, it's Shanghai Gold Exchange. And look at what they're reporting. This really describes it perfectly right there on your screen. Staggering 130 metric ton decrease in their silver inventory. The silver rush going on in China it cannot be understated. They need silver, and they're taking it now wherever they can get it. I'm just gonna come down here for a minute on this article, and then I'll go back up. Look, China continues to buy silver concentrate from mines in Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Peru. They just last week I posted a video showing how China is devoting, just the way they have their highway and bridge program, I forget what it's called, throughout Africa. They're doing the same thing for silver now. They're in Peru, same thing, putting all their money into Peru so they could get that silver out. They need that silver. So now let's go back to this. Check this out. Now in 2025, their industrial silver plan, right here, consuming a whopping 12,000 metric tons. That's nearly 50%. If there's one number that you take away from this live stream today, if there's one number that you just pop in your head, China needs 50% of global mining supply. Is there anything more clear that shows that there's a shortage for silver? This is new territory that we're in. This is totally new territory. We haven't seen anything like this. Silver has always, it's got industrial use. Sure, yeah, that's always been part of the conversation. Now it's way more than just part of the conversation, because look at the West here, right here. The West isn't faring much better. Again, I'm not going to go through all the data in this article. Check it out. It's on Silver Academy. I'm just giving you the highlights that I feel are impacting our spot price of silver here at home. Look, the West isn't faring much better. Look at the EFP. When you see this, exchange for physical, that means that these sellers that have bought paper silver, when they want to turn in the paper and get some real actual silver in their hand, like you and I do when we buy silver, we buy physical silver, the discrepancy is, on a conservative estimate, it's 400 to 1. That means for all of these paper contracts, 400, that's the discrepancy, is 400 to 1 actual ounce of silver. That's a discrepancy. It's just huge. So there's premiums, of course. The premiums are skyrocketing. It says it right here. The exchange for physical premiums on silver are just skyrocketing because there's only a certain amount of silver. And all of these traders are going on paper contracts that are, it's really quite ridiculous when you think about it. And if you want to really get into the weeds with this type of trading, I suggest you check out Ron's Basement. He posts daily, live, sometimes twice a day he does live streams. He's great. And he really knows this like the back of his hand. He's really great at explaining it. Check out Ron's Basement. There's other channels, right? There's Silver Slayer. He gets into this stuff. It's really, it absolutely impacts our price of silver because there's no real tangible. It's the same reason that we swap out our fiat currency for physical silver, because we know that paper currency, that physical currency, that fiat currency is actually constantly losing its value. So therefore, we swap it out to have our wealth in a real form, real money, silver, gold, real money. So this is really coming out. And look at this. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Look at this number here. Many silver zinc batteries now require, look at that, 11,000 ounces of silver for each. You and I as silver stackers, we're so busy at these like tiny little numbers for ounces. Oh, my goal this year is to get 100 ounces, something like that. That's like a normal person. We're dealing with Oh, 11,000. I said it wrong. 11,000 ounces. 11,000 ounces for each. It's just mind-blowing how much so, and that's why at the top of this video, I use that word sucking. The silver is just being sucked up, and it's being taken away from us. So this is exactly what we need to look at. Check out Silver Academy. He really, there's a couple of writers with this blog, and they really they do their research. They take the time to go through all the weeds so we don't have to. And it's really very telling. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. This is the information that we really need to know as silver stackers. Now, let's get some of you guys to give me a call here. I'll talk to Pound of Gold live. We had a lot of people talking in the chat yesterday, and I have this phone number. I'm going to post on your screen. Let me get it. Okay, so got the number there. Let's try to, well, let me get this right. I want to get the number up so I can get you guys to give me a call, and it'll go right to my phone. Tell me your experience stacking silver. Tell me, you know, how you're feeling these days. Are you able to accumulate? So many of you guys are waiting to swap out for gold. I know that feeling. I want to hear how you're doing. And interestingly, you know, when I post these live streams, of course, when we're done with the live stream, YouTube just posts it up as kind of a regular video. And so people watch it throughout the day. And yesterday, I mean, in the middle of the night, I was getting calls. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., because people are watching the live stream and they're thinking that this phone number can just be called at any time. So I'm happy to talk to you guys, but the plan is to talk now when we have the live stream. So give me a call. Let's you know, I got a couple of guys calling on the other stream. It's a lot of fun. I love to hear your voices. I want to hear your experience stacking silver at 925-412-1969. I think this is the only silver stacking live stream in our community where you can actually call and talk to me, your host, on the air. This is like a live radio show. So call that number. It goes right to my phone, and I want to know your experience stacking silver, how long you've been doing it, what are you into stacking, are you going to stack forever, or do you actually have a silver stacking plan where you're going to stop at a certain moment? Well, give me a call. Let's hear from you guys. This right here is from Kitco News, and you know the interesting thing about Kitco News is they talk a lot about gold in Kitco News, but for some strange reason, maybe somebody has an answer, they often don't post about silver, but they have a lot of articles about gold on Kitco News, and you really have to dig through the weeds to get into silver. But I got some here. Like, look at this. This is silver outperforming. This is exactly what we're seeing. Silver outperforming gold again. And this is looking at 2025. They're looking at the numbers that will be seen in 2025 for silver. Again, the number's right there. Give me a call, guys. 925-412-1969. I know a lot of you, there's got to be some people born in 1969 watching this live stream. I'm close to 1969. I'm pretty close, like inches away. All right, so check this out. This is outperforming silver, outperforming gold again next year. And we talked about this, I think, yesterday with the Heraeus report. I love this report. It comes out monthly if you can grab it. Luckily, it comes out sometimes monthly. And they really tell you exactly what's going on. But this prediction, look at this number right here, 26%. This says that the silver price is the largest percentage gains across precious metals, and that's only going up to November, 26.82%. We've had a big bump the past week, so I don't even think that includes, I'd say conservatively, we're easily at a 30% increase, and I've seen that number in other publications, that silver has shown that much of an increase, and we feel it. If you've been stacking silver like me, then you know 12 months ago, 18 months ago, we were just stuck. It felt like eternity. That's the struggle of silver. We get a big bull run like we're experiencing, but at the same time, that levels off into this painful long-term performance lag. And then during those times, that's when you and I, as stackers, we're constantly convincing other people that silver is the way to go, right? We don't have to do that talk these days. These days, it's easy. Everybody sees it. Everybody saw this big $10 jump that happened in 2024, and we don't have to sell anything, right? Meaning like convince people. I don't sell silver. I'm just a stacker. But we don't have to convince anybody that what we're doing is smart. 26.82, again, that's conservative, showing that silver is going up that high in, over this bull run. So 2025 is absolutely what they're looking at is at least $40 an ounce. I see that easily in 2025, especially as everything rolls out with new administration, tariffs, and anything that causes anxiety. People turn to precious metals, and that gives us a big bump in price. So anything, right? Look, we just experienced this past weekend when we have the change in Syria, and the word change, of course, is putting it lightly, but we have that massive shift in the governing rule of Syria. People become anxious. By Sunday night, you have the Asian markets moving, and Monday morning, we've got this big shift in silver. So this happens time and again, that whenever we have anything causing the general public to feel anxious, they're going to go to precious metals. Now, this is the other part, and I didn't talk about this yesterday for the Heraeus report, is they look at India and jewelry and silverware markets, because as silver stackers, we often just want to see these large pictures. We want the macro news, right? Just give me the big picture. But industry for silver is not just solar. It's not just electric vehicles, right? We have jewelry and silverware, which in the U.S., it's not that big. But India, right here, India, the largest market for silverware and jewelry fabrication demand, it's seen a huge surge. And that impacts our price of silver. So same thing for gold. India and gold, right? It's part of their culture. It's just a totally different from us here. So check out this Kitco article. There's another on Kitco, and this is the 9-week high that we have for gold. And really, I know that you're like me. I turned my focus turned away from gold almost like a whiplash when gold first hit its all-time high. And when I say my focus, meaning like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be buying a full ounce of gold. And predictions for 2025, we're looking at easily 2,900, certainly going up to 3,000 for 1 ounce of gold. That's in 2025. If we had said, look, a year ago, if you had told me, oh, gold's going to be hovering at 2,700 by the end of this one single year, I would have thought, yeah, sure, whatever. Save it for somebody who really believes that. And look at us now. Call that number, guys. It's right there. I keep forgetting to tell you. Call 925-412-1969. Call me. I got my phone right here. I want to talk to you on the live stream. Give me a call. Tell me your experience stacking silver. Tell me where you're at these days. What's your goal for stacking silver? How are you feeling with these prices going up? And what's your plan? Give me a call. I'll talk to Pound of Gold on the live stream. That's why I'm doing this live. I want to talk to you guys. We chat in the comments, and I like hearing everybody write in the comments, but I want to hear your voice too. It's really fun to hear your voice. So this is showing that 9-week right here. Gold powers to 9-week high on bullish fundamentals and technicals. And we're easily looking at 2,900, and the chances, the Fed Watch tool is really looking high that we're going to get another cut. It says it right here. Fed Watch tool shows the probability of 25 basis point interest rate cut, and that impacts silver. When people feel like, oh, the dollar is not a smart place to put their money, they start moving to silver. So as silver stackers, if you are new to silver stacking, start checking out the Fed Watch tool, especially as 2025 rolls out, because there are many predictions that are saying we will only get one cut in 2025, just one. And if that's the case, that's going to be a brick wall for our silver price, right? There's a huge difference. Originally, we were looking at several cuts, and now there are many predictors saying one. So Fed Watch tool right here, it says that there's 90% probability, and that's much better than last month. Last month, I believe it was 50-50. Something around there. It was like 51, 49. It was like really pretty close. in terms of how we're gonna see it pan out. So as I'll tell you, as me as a silver stacker, I don't spend too much time on day trades, but I do look at these futures investments because that tells us, like, look, we have contracts as high as 2,800. Just 1 minute ago, I was telling you how nobody would have believed we were up at this $2,700 price. Well, look, these are futures contracts showing for February, right up here. Technically, February gold bulls, February, and we're looking at 2,800. Do you remember when gold was 1,100? How our minds were blown? Have you been in this game as long as I have? Do you remember that? I mean, I remember thinking, oh, I'm out for gold at 1,100. I remember that. I remember telling my friend, oh, 1,100. How could I ever stack any gold with an $1,100 spot price? It's nothing now. It's nothing. 1,100. And truth is, we'll probably feel the same way. Years from now, we'll look back at a $3,000 spot price and we'll think, oh, remember when gold was 3,000? Can you believe it? Those are the statements that we're going to be making. That's where we're at with these record highs. Now, don't be discouraged. Don't let that turn you away from stacking metals, because gold and silver move together, right? Not exactly right at the same time, but they move together. And when gold shoots up this high, it's going to bring silver with it. That's just what happens. Hey, there's a pound of gold.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. I'm glad that I got you on here. Let me make sure. Well, I guess there's nothing I could click, but I hope that everybody can hear me. So, what's your name?
Yeah, I was afraid to. My name's Luke. I was afraid to turn up the live stream if it would interfere with the phone call. So I'll just kind of turn it down and make sure it's not going to have any interference.
So you are like me. You remember the days of call-in radio, right? You always have to turn down your radio.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know how it works with YouTube, but and in fact, this is the first time I ever called in to anything YouTube. Not many people do the call, and I think rethinking the dollar might with Mike there, but that's about the only one I know of.
Yeah. So how long you been stacking?
A long time. So I did take a hiatus, but I've been stacking since pre-2000. So I was in the $4 range for silver.
There you go.
Somewhere in the 400 or just less an ounce of gold. Took a few years off. Caught back up around right after it went way down from the $50 range to all-time highs. And I think I started stacking again right around 30. So that was 2015, 14, somewhere in there.
Oh, so you took a big break.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a big break. What happened? I just I kind of started a business, and the guy that got me going on it, I was no longer around that guy. He was an old boss, and so I was away from that influence, and then I realized that I needed some money one time, and I had a few ounces of gold that I had bought all that time ago. And I could not believe how much it went up. I was like, wow, I have like $1,200 from this 300 and whatever. Yeah, and so I used it. Well, that was an indication to me that I shouldn't have missed all those years. And so I immediately started going really heavy in silver. And, since the last 10 years or so, I accumulated quite a base. And now I've realized that metals insurance needs to be diversified, because I was really kind of like most people on the channel, kooky in the sense of that was I was putting everything toward that, as far as investment, well, insurance, but it was kind of like a good sickness, like a gambler, but it's kind of like in a good way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I like that you say insurance, because it really is a great way to look at it. And I also like to hear that I remember that. I remember silver being so cheap. And did you feel this way? I remember people kind of feel like the way we look at copper, like it was just so cheap that it was kind of like a silly thing to get into.
Yeah, I remember seeing it at like flea markets or something like that. I used to do the rodeo circuit, and so I was in these towns, and a lot of times there was flea markets and stuff, and so there would be off time to do things. And so my traveling buddy and me would go check out some of these little flea markets and not tag sales, but gatherings on the weekends. And we check them out, and there was always silver there. And I was like, man, they're like, I didn't know that it was cheap. I didn't know. I thought, I guess the stuff, this is what it goes for. And I'd be buying an ounce here or there for like $3 or $4, sometimes a little bit more if they were
nothing.
If the seller thought it was rare or something, but yeah, it was. And then picking it back up, I'm like, wait. Well, I guess here's the story. So I own a tree service. So I was buying a stump grinder back in 2014 or 15, an hour south of me. And I asked the guy, I said, so you made he had a really beautiful house in like about 12 acres in nice rolling country and just a beautiful property. And I said, you made your money with the grinding stumps? Because he had like 3 stump grinders. And he said, no. He said, back in 2010, I bought, I forget how much he said, but he said, I bought a bunch of silver. I went all in on silver. He said, then it went up to $50 an ounce, and I sold, and I made $4 million. Talk about striking somebody's interest. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He must have went really all in. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, this guy must have had a ton of silver. So, and he said to have the guts to sell it, thinking, is it going to keep going up? And then that's speculation. But I thought it was great that was an inspirational story to me. So I really started doing the same thing. And I realized in the past few years that maybe I had a pretty good base, so I could kind of hang on to the base, and now I'm into vintage stuff. So it keeps me very interested, and I'm still stacking in a way, but a little bit more kind of like artwork.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Once I got a strong base under me for silver, it allowed me to stretch out and get more interested in things that come with a premium, right? Silver pieces that are like semi-numismatic. But I feel like a lot of people are starting with that instead of building a base of, monster box or something, or like, rounds. But that's the way to do it, is to have like you're saying, like insurance, have silver as an insurance under you. And along with that, that you're right with that story, like knowing or having a good sense, like, okay, silver really shot up, but should I use my nest egg now, or should I take the risk? And then that's nail biting, because that, the story you just shared with getting millions of dollars. Oh my gosh.
Well, something you said about earlier was about having a plan. And so listening to some of the YouTubers and some of the people that I kind of stick to, they all seem to have the same sort of, lines of, hey, you kind of want to have a little bit of a plan. It doesn't have to be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do this, but I considered like the, when the ratio goes somewhere in that 40 to 50 range, yes, I'll make a move then. But like in the meantime, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Like it seems like, yeah, it's going up, it's good, but okay. So what I did, what I've always done stacking wise is I try to keep equal amounts of gold for the amount of silver, money wise, like I guess currency wise, how much it's worth. So it's if I'm buying 80 ounces, then I'm buying 1 ounce of gold. Once the ratio got way up, I went to mostly silver and I just buy gold here or there. But what I did recently, because I felt this weighing on me that I was way too, I had way too much of just these, this more insurance, not so much investment. So I 25 ounces of gold, and I sold it at my LCS, which it was very, very easy to do, in case anybody's wondering. Literally, it was, I went down there, they cut me a check for most of it, because I allowed them to cut me a check. I said, at this particular, I ended up buying a beachfront in Hawaii, but it's just nothing great. It's on the Big Island, so it's not like some awesome spot, but it is pretty cool to have a beachfront, and it's just a property. And so they cut me a check for the majority of it, like 80%, and then the rest they gave me in cash, same day. I cashed the check the same day. So it was, it was trading an asset for an asset, and
Yeah.
you want to talk about sweating. I thought, because I sold at $2,500 an ounce. They gave me $2,500 per ounce.
Nice.
So I was really sweating that out, thinking, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Because it went up. This was in the middle of summer, right when it started going way up. And so I watched the gold. After I already made the transaction, I watched the gold continue to go up. And I'm like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? I mean, but I'm thinking, no, in 40 years, this is not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Just keep. And the thing is that was a quarter of my stack. So I was like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if this ends up tanking. The property ends up tanking and the gold continues to go up. I thought, well, I have to diversify because I don't really have any other ways of diversifying the next thing. I was afraid to take it into stock. I still feel like that bubble's huge. So I'm thinking, if I put, like $100,000 in stocks and then the stock market, tanks, I could see that happening so easily. So why would I do that? So now,
and you're going, you're going from, like you said, you're going from an asset to another asset. So it's still from a physical asset to another physical asset. I think it's smart, man. Luke, I feel like you have so many great stories. I'm gonna let you go so I can keep going the live stream. But I'm excited you called, and when I do this, call in again. Call again. This is a great conversation.
I like the channel.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was fun. We got to talk to Luke, true silver stacker, true gold stacker. Clearly, he's been in this since silver was, to say single digits, he was talking about low single digits, like $5 an ounce. Wow. So, that's the way to do it. Man, great stories. I learned a lot talking to him. If you're feeling shy, don't be shy, man. Call that number, 925-412-1969. Tell me about your experience stacking silver, stacking gold. This is the only live stream that I know of where we're having people call in, talk to Pound of Gold, tell me your experience. So I wanted to show you this also. Now this is Bank of Canada, BOC. So as silver stackers, we're often we have our blinders on. We just want to hear about the U.S. But what we have to see is, look at this. Look at their rate. Look at what they've gone down to. And it says they cut its key interest rate by 50 basis points. That's the fifth consecutive cut, right? Wow. Down 50. And they're at 3.25% Wednesday. So imagine how we will be impacted as silver stackers when we get that low here in the States. It'll happen. It will happen. We were here shortly. Years ago, not that many years ago, we were low like that. People were able to pick up a mortgage at around that rate, right? A little over 3%. You could get a mortgage not that long ago. So it'll be back. And it's happening in Canada. It's happening in the EU. So there's other central banks that are being more aggressive than we are. And that's what we have to look at as silver stackers. We have to understand that the U.S. isn't just living in a bubble, and just because we are being very cautious, our Fed's being very cautious and lowering rates at this, what it feels like a snail's pace, it's happening around us. And that builds a confidence for the U.S. to cut rates. That's the history of macroeconomics, right? All these central bankers are watching each other closely, and they're learning as inflation gets impacted in these other countries. Look at this. Monetary policy has worked to bring inflation back to the 2% target, Bank of Canada. So that's what we're looking at. We're at the top of this video. I noted in that other article that we have a FedWatch tool is saying 90% chance of a cut, 90%. So it's looking good. That number, 925-412-1969. I'm happy that we got Silver Stacker to call me. Luke called and talked to Pound of Gold. I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow, and I'm going to keep doing this phone number. I like when you guys call me and talk to me. I like doing this live stream. This is bringing us back to the days where we had talk radio and people would call in, and I feel like I miss those days. I want to talk to you guys. You always hear my voice. I want to talk to you. And hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Here it is. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And I will see you guys the next time I post. I'm going to post tomorrow. I'll see you guys on the next one.